What up? Seth Miranda here. This is Adorama Rewind, and it is crazy hot out. I know I love you, but you smell like hot garbage. But thanks to everybody who came out to Adorama Inspire Week. We just got fresh off of that down the block at the Alton building. Some major names: Joe McNally, Gavin, Hoey, Peter Hurley, just to name a few. Cliff Hausner, the legend, was in the house. A lot of demos, a lot of walks, a lot of seminars, a lot of panels, and lots of people. So thank you so much for coming out. That was amazing. New York, you're the best. But let's get back into the rest of the world, right? So this is a little discerning. Model suffers severe burns and photo shoot gone wrong. Yeah, so this poor girl from Vancouver, 22 years old, does modeling as freelance on the side. Some of these images are graphic, as you see warned here. Robin Lee Jensen, she has a GoFundMe now going for her medical bills. You can see here she has a lot of dead tissue removal and a lot of heavy burning going on the back of her legs and other areas of her body, like her arms and stuff like that. So pretty much a photographer hit her up, said, hey, I do these cool shoots with fire. She asked around to other models and photographers. They vouched that he's legit. It's okay to go ahead with it. However, the guy seemed to be in a rush, she said, and there was nobody on site as far as EMT or pyro or anything like that. No fire safety, nothing. So when he started spraying paraffin wax oil, it got close to her. Next thing she knows, she's in flames. This is crazy. This is not cool. And this is just common sense. If you want to play like a big dog, you better get ready to have the right leash, okay? Don't tell me that you've done this a million times and gotten some good results and maybe you got lucky. When you do something that's dangerous to somebody's well-being and you're asking them to be with you on set, you're responsible for their well-being. You're responsible for them to leave that set as they came. If it's not safe or if there's any risk, you do everything you can to create the measures to make it safe, like having the correct personnel on staff right there, right next to you. Even our very own Gavin Hoey did a Bonnie and Clyde shoot and had replica guns and had a gun tech right there with them on set the entire time to make sure everything was up and up. So do the proper procedures, do the right thing, and have respect for the people that you're shooting with. I mean, what is it worth? Your vanity in your career or your Instagram? Who knows what these shots are for, but this poor girl is now scarred for life and is definitely hindered life-wise. She can't even walk for a while, and her GoFundMe is just looking for $5 grand. I think it's up to $8 grand already. I donated some money just because the photographic community should kind of step forward a little bit and try to squash this type of behavior, and I feel like what's a couple bucks in the good name of the community there. Sorry for the rant, but this one really hit me hard, and I've seen models over the years get a lot of abuse, whether it's sexual harassment or any other type of anything, really. I mean, how many times have you heard, take a friend with you to a shoot? It shouldn't be like that, and especially when there's something like fire or whatever, you're responsible for their well-being. Just always remember that. Okay, rant over, sorry. Let's check this one out. The royal wedding photographer hacked, hundreds of photos leaked. So yeah, Alexei Lubomirsky, I probably said that wrong, was targeted and hacked, and hundreds of the photos from the royal wedding were leaked out when only a few were approved for whatever publication. Now a lot of them are flying around. Either way, I don't think it's that crazy a deal, but it is a big deal that privacy was hacked, right? That somebody who didn't want their images out there has them out there, whether they're a prince or they're civilian, it doesn't matter. So this is kind of crazy. Alexei is a well-known fashion photographer, does really beautiful work. It was kind of controversial that a fashion photographer was chosen for the royal wedding and not like a rock star wedding photographer. I remember at WPPI, he was the key speaker, and I kept on hearing a lot about this, but either way, no one deserves to have their images hacked. And speaking of more images out there in the public, unseen 9/11 photos were found in an estate sale. So yeah, remember this? Remember this crazy event that happened? Seems like forever ago, but here in New York, it doesn't. An archive of 2,400 never before seen 9/11 photos have been discovered on CDs purchased at an estate sale. So this is kind of bananas because this one hits home also because I'm a New Yorker, and also at the time of 9/11, I was working at a 1-hour photo, and while I was working there, fire department and responders and volunteers kept on bringing in garbage bags full of one-time use disposable cameras, and I was processing all of it and seeing firsthand as it was going on from the viewpoint of these responders, 9/11 itself, right? And they were using disposable cameras that had a flash, and because of all the dust, it did a horrible job with the plastic lens and made diffraction and fogging and all sorts of stuff, so you couldn't really see much. But I just remember it. Meanwhile, now we have 2,400 more images out there from right there at ground zero. Remember that term, ground zero? Yeah, this was a heavy moment in our history. Some of the greats have covered this immensely. We've seen some incredible imagery, incredible moments of just human civilization and New York in general. Wow, what an event, and it's really amazing that we still find images today. These are now being archived. There is a Flickr album out there, so check out the link and go check out these images yourself if you want to go relive that a little bit or just see how heavy this devastation was. It's amazing how much the world has changed in just that amount of time, and these are like as right there as you can possibly get. Of course, we've seen some amazing images from guys like Joe McNally, who did life-size Polaroids of the responders, and they're actually in the 9/11 museum here in New York. But this is kind of like firsthand, very candid, right there. Unbelievable. All right, let's lighten the mood a little bit. Hasselblad is having a moment right now. I know Daniel Norton is super excited. He's a Hassi fan. So Hasselblad released the X1D Mark II. Same sensor and everything, little sleeker body style, darker gray right here, blah, 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 right? But it actually is a faster camera, better autofocusing, better EVF, a little bit more resolution in the EVF. It does say that it is the same sensor and all that stuff, but it's a faster boot up time. It's just basically an updated version of an already great camera and a system out there. They're doing a killer job. And also now it can tether to an iPad, which is pretty awesome if you're out there in the field. It's a very minimal system for a medium format setup. It's a very tiny camera for what it is, and it's a beast of a file with 16-bit raw images, 50 megapixels, fantastic. Focus Mobile 2, USB-C or Wi-Fi raw and JPEG transfer. Of course, we don't know how that transfer wireless is. We haven't had it in hand yet, but we'll let you know as soon as we know. And what's really cool is they also released this, an NXCD zoom lens, so 35 to 75 millimeter. We're talking about a 21 to 45 millimeter if you want to make it equivalent to 35 millimeter. Really beautiful stuff, very minimal looking, of course. It's Hasselblad, very sleek, right to the point. And they're claiming it's one of the best lenses yet. I'm sorry, it says 28 to 58 millimeter in 35 millimeter terms. I guess I was a little off there, but hey, I took a shot at it, right? Hasselblad glass always really top end, and it's really beautiful stuff. So we'll see how that acts. And really quick to top it all off, they announced the 907X, which is the smallest medium format body ever. Look at this thing. So this is harping at any Hasselblad fans' heartstrings, I should say. You can check it out here that it's this back, and it pretty much mounts to a V system body, right? It's basically a digital back, and it can use all the V systems that from 1957 and forward. Here it is, there you go. So the back mounting system and the lenses, and it's gonna have adaptions for a lot of the already existing, you know, the X system lenses and the V system and all that stuff, like I've been saying, and this cute little viewfinder. There's no real more word than that of when it's available and stuff like that. As of the time of this recording, I'm sure someone's gonna comment below, they said it's gonna come out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, calm down. As of this recording, there is no mention of when it's gonna be out, but it does seem like pretty awesome. And I have a bunch of V system stuff from my 503 days, and I would love to get my hands on this and just knock around with it. The X1D Mark II is more affordable than ever. It is about $5,000 when initially that camera system was around $9,000. So that's awesome. So I'm wondering what this system is going to be debut at as far as price wise. The world may never know. No, I'm just kidding. They'll let us know soon enough, and as soon as they know, I'll let you know, and just stay up on Adorama's media to be informed as soon as we know. In some fun news, Wandrd, you guys have seen me use Wandrd bags in my Tokyo video, the Provoke 31 roll top, the Hexat Access duffel. Well, now they've released this day banger. Look at this little guy. It's pretty efficient. So when you unzip it, you can see right here, you got side access, very sleek design as the rest of their bags do. But what's cool about it is it does this. It opens up completely. It's kind of like a total organized day planner type bag. I call them day bangers when they're not meant for like a trip and you just throw everything you need in there. But it's super, I mean, they're saying they can handle all of this, which is great. And it's super, weather resistant there. And it's just very, organized. It's going to look around, it's looking like a $200 bag to me, $190, whatever, but they do make some great bags. I've been a fan of them. So it's on Kickstarter now with $250,000 and counting. So it just shows how many people are really digging this company. If you're looking for a new bag, I highly recommend them. I've thoroughly enjoyed their bags for both all day and trips. So there goes for that. In some more gear news, Nikon confirms D5 equivalent in the mirrorless system. So that's the Nikon D5 Beast, which is a DSLR with a mirror, full frame, and the Z system, which is tiny in comparison. Well, the president of Nikon says, yeah, it's coming. It's definitely in the works. They did not announce a release date for it. We don't know what's happening, but we do know that they did patent 2 names for this year for the Z series. So the rest of 2019 and into 2020, we should see at least 2 cameras from Nikon on the Z series, which is pretty awesome because we're speculating, again, speculation, but it seems pretty solid that it's one camera is going to be under under a grand. I'm going to say. The people are saying $900. I'm just going to say it's under $1,000 because they're going to compete with the Canon RP and other systems that are pretty low cost. And now we have the other patented name, and they're thinking it's going to be like a Z9, right? Like the A9. They're looking at Nikon to go up ahead against the A9s in Sony somehow. Canon has yet to put out any word of a pro level camera. So if Nikon hits the market first, we're going to have Sony and Nikon really going hard at it, and Canon, we're waiting for you. So let's see what happens there. However, if you're not in those 3 brands, if you're in Olympus, guess what? Your EM1 Mark II firmware 3.0 brings you the autofocus and IQ of the EM1X. Yeah, so the EM1X is their latest camera and is ridiculously fast frames per second. The autofocus is basically bananas. I gave it a shot. It was pretty awesome. So now the autofocus system that's inside that camera can go into a body that's a few years old, actually. So if you're a flagship Olympus owner, congratulations. You got some free firmware to make your camera even awesomer. But in some other Nikon news, just really quickly, Techart unveils the world's first Sony E to Nikon Z autofocus lens adapter. What does this mean? Pretty much it means that all your Sony G Master lenses with this adapter can mount to a Nikon Z series. So now, if you are a Nikon Z owner, like a lot of people went over to the Z6 because of the video capability, having 10-bit video and soon 12-bit video ProRes RAW out to a recorder thanks to Adamus. It seems to be a pretty great camera, a $2,000 camera with the great video capabilities, and I have one here in the event space that I use from time to time, and it's a lot of fun. Now you don't just have the Z series lenses, which is about only like 3 or 4 lenses. Now you also have the F-mount adapter, which it came out with, so it give you like 90 Nikon lenses, but now you have access to the 26 or plus lenses that Sony makes that can mount to your Nikon, and they're saying that it's lossless as far as autofocus capability and stuff like that, but every adapter company will say that. It's about $250 for this adapter, and I think this is really interesting because if someone that bought a Z series just to see what it's about and they still own Sony, now you can have all those lenses just go right to your Nikon and work with the face detect autofocus and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting. I'm curious if this is even gonna make any difference in the market. I don't know, you let me know down below if you're someone that, are you one of those unicorns that switched from Sony to Nikon? I gotta know. We haven't heard much about that. A lot of people have been switching systems to mirrorless, and there haven't been a lot of options till now. Now everybody has a full frame mirrorless out there. Whether it works for you is another story. So there's that. And some pretty light news, get it? Adobe Lightroom lands Apple's Mac App Store. So what this basically means is that from the Mac App Store on your MacBook or whatever, you actually have a Lightroom app, and it's not the classic Lightroom that's an actual software. It's just an app from the Mac Store. So it's the first ever from the Adobe system to be a full-fledged software as an app, which is interesting. What are the advantages? I'm not so sure. I'm not sure anyone's really going to see much of a difference. They seem to be lightening up on Lightroom itself, like making it not as heavy of a software. I would wish for Adobe to kind of compete out there. We see everybody switching to Capture One because of the tethering capability, the raw conversion capability, and the cataloging system that Photo Mechanic has is amazing, and yet Lightroom seems to have just kind of like stayed where it is. I don't know what this is going to do strategically, but you let me know if you're someone that uses Lightroom, if this is somehow an advantage for you. I would love to know about that. And hey, if you're a filmmaker and you love anamorphic and you just kind of walk around with your phone and wish you could film stuff that can go into something you're already filming, guess what? SanMarc has anamorphic lenses for your iPhone. It's true, kids. Multiple elements in this, and anamorphic, of course, will squish down and kind of stretch out for the aspect ratio for whatever you're filming in anamorphic. So We haven't seen this before. It seems pretty cheap, right? 160 bucks. That's pretty awesome. So if you're someone that's a filmmaker and you're on the fly, just happen to have your phone and you want to click this on and make an anamorphic aspect ratio and mix it with some other footage, maybe it could work for you. Or if you're someone that just wants to film on all iPhones, we've seen that happen, right? That movie Tangerine was done great on iPhones. Is this an answer to actual cinema cameras? Probably not, but it is pretty cool that it's out there and exists. I think it's pretty awesome that we have these options nowadays, right? I'm going to chill out there with the news, and I'm going to clue you into our channel. So Gavin Hoey did a great video. He reenacted Bonnie and Clyde, but he did it as a challenge. So his wife Sam sets him up with these photo challenges. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He's told, go to this location, packs whatever gear he thinks he might be able to use, and next thing you know, it unravels for him. So here you can see Gavin Hoey standing around waiting for this Model T to show up. I mean, wow. And then Bonnie and Clyde show up, 2 models he's worked with before in some thrift shop store closing. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry guys. And it's a pretty awesome shoot, and you can see his methodology and the way he thinks about how to set up this shoot and on the fly figuring things out. And then he starts with available light and starts breaking apart with his own lighting. And you can see him stress out a little bit, but my man Gavin holds it down. I give it to him on this one. And it was a really great shoot, really beautiful images. And if you're a fan of that era, check it out. It's an awesome shoot. And if you guys are still hungry for some more Adorama stuff, keep in mind that on Adorama's Instagram, on IGTV, there's all this stuff. I mean, we have Top Photographer Challenge happening. You guys can enter that right now. Check out this video right here that I'm making flash right here. And there's Hustle Notes, which is awesome, from young creators in the industry talking about what they go through and how they built their careers. We have stuff from Vanessa Joy, live demos. We have David Bergman giving you his tips. Of course, Daniel Norton throwing it down, showing us some portrait challenge stuff. And you know what? Somewhere in here is even my stuff. Oh, there it is. Some of my demos. So you guys can come hang out with me and demo from me. Vanessa Joy talking about what's in her bag. Even some stuff from our musical instrument department with Drew. He's awesome. Go check out IGTV on our Instagram. You just got to go to @Adorama and go to the first highlight, click it, boom, you're there. Or even if you're on a desktop, if you really hate looking at vertical video on your phone, which some people just have this vendetta, I'm sure I can feel the comments coming about this, but some people don't hate vertical video. I happen to be one of them. You can go to instagram.com/Adorama/channel. Boom. And they're right there on your desktop, or you can just go and click on it, Adorama, instagram.com/Adorama. And lastly, every now and then I like to remind you guys that it doesn't just stop on our YouTube. We also have Facebook, and you guys can go through all this beautiful, beautiful video library of live events that have happened here, including Daniel Norton and myself shooting live, Mark DiPaolo, which is an amazing Leica shooter. Me right here, I did a Profoto A1X demo and another Speedlight demo, like back to back. You've got Daniel Norton doing intro to Flash, David Bergman, who did great tips and everything like that. So, you know, there's that, right? So don't just stop at YouTube. Go check us out on Facebook if you're definitely into more live events. There's stuff that happens right here in the event space that you could be a part of. You just got to get on facebook.com/Adorama, and just when we go live, come hang out in the chat, okay? There's stuff that only appears on the Facebook, and there's stuff that only appears on the IG channel. We are working crazy hard to constantly bring you content and tips and education and just letting you guys know what's out there. So thank you so much for being part of that and being our audience, because without you guys, we couldn't do it. So having said all that, I just want to let you know I apologize for not answering the comments in the last couple of weeks. It has been bananas. I've been traveling. I had the Inspire event. It's been just nuts. I apologize for not answering the comments. I will do it this week. I swear. I'm on it. I'm here for you. I swear. Now, for the question of the week, is there any shoot that you've regretted? I keep thinking about this poor model that got burned alive here, and I'm sure this photographer regrets it. I'm sure he's going to regret all the fallout from it. But is there any shoot out there that you totally regret? Whether it's a shot you missed, whether it's something you should have done differently, whether it's something that you just weren't prepared and didn't have anything with you to shoot it with. Is there any type of shoot out there that's always been on your mind for all the years? I definitely have a few. One of them being right here on Water Street. I shot when I was shooting my BMX days on a sculpture that had a mirrored circle cut out of it. We would ride the cutout, and I would shoot the reflection on the mirror. Well, I screwed up and I lost the roll of film, and I'll never know if I had those shots. And now that area is not easy to ride. And I'm also not a BMX photographer anymore, pretty much. So let me know if there's something out there that you guys regret in your whole career. I'm really curious about what other people go through, because you all deal with different things. I mean, wedding photographers deal with different issues than studio photographers, and so on and so forth. So I'm really curious about that. Let me know. And I'm gonna leave you with this. If you haven't clued into it, we're on Twitch now, and me and Josh Slay, my co-host, totally played Mortal Kombat wearing wedding dresses. Why? Because Vanessa Joy was in the house and she had wedding dresses for us to rock. So we were just messing around with that. If you really want to see some stupidity, go check out twitch.tv/AdoramaXP, especially if you're a gamer. Come join us on Sundays, and for the takeovers during the week, we have various people playing. I just want to throw that out there, really last minute. Sorry, just hit my brain, even though it just happened like yesterday. So if you want to see some ridiculousness, we're wearing like 25 Gs in wedding dresses. Vanessa Joy just knows how to hook it up. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it there. I'll see you guys next week. Later.